Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brankus Creations, and I do hope everything is working properly. It is a little while since I did a live stream. I did do a workshop in wine, which of course I appreciate is not necessarily in the right time zone for some people. It's one that I sort of do late in the evening here. Well, actually early evening here, but I realise that that's probably a bit too late for a lot of people. So some people may have missed that one. So if you did miss that one, then it's been something like 3-4 weeks since I live streamed, and so I apologise. I am going to do my normal thing here, and I am going to say hello to everyone who is in the chat. So hello to Dana Does Stuff. Hello there. Hello to Tev Rudin, Thomas Armstrong, Jack68K, Tony Fields. So I did it wrong, didn't I? Sorry. Dana, I should say hello. Hello. There we go. That's better. Foxhound477. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack. Dave is here. Hello there, Dave. Apples Anonymous, Nick, hello. Colin from This Does Not Compute, hello there. Who else we got? Gibatronics, we've got Jared Burma. Max Button, hello. This is your 2FX board, by the way, Max. Ryan H. Don, hello, Don. Patrick Pitts, hello there. So Colin says, I secretly hope the board isn't repairable so that Bruce can do a live stream of populating a 2FX Reloaded board. Well, I do actually have a 2FX Reloaded board here that does need some population. But I have to take the things off the old board first. So things like new bus slots, PDS slot, all that sort of stuff. And of course, they're a bit of a bugger getting those off because lots and lots of pins, obviously, and then they usually have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 pins bent on the other underside, so you've got to unbend them first, and then, you know, I then put it on my hot plate thingy and heat it up, and then pluck them off. It's a very tedious job, but it does have to be done because it's not my board, it's Kai's, and I really want to get it back to him. So now, very important announcement here. Bear with me just a second. Chook Cam is back. And we've even got a little bit of bird sound if you want it there. So after some technical issues associated with Chook Cam, specifically that they got the camera got fried by a lightning strike, and I actually had a chance to open it up and see what was fried as well. Actually, I think I've got it here. I can show everyone. Yeah. So anyhow, we'll do that in a second. But here's the cool thing. Check this out. Come on. It's a bit. I don't know why these controls are so kind of clunky, but they are. Yep. There we go. Bit of a lag with these controls, so that's sort of the issue. Anyhow, as you can see, I have just fed them recently. They've got all their treats in there. So, and I don't know why it's so kind of jerky. I don't know, network-related stuff. Maybe I'm just squeezing way too much through this network at the moment. But anyhow, they're there. We can zoom, we can pan, we can tilt. The world is our oyster. There's the little white one there, and then you got the big black one. The big black one on the right is actually an Australorp chicken, and she is kind of like the boss. And then you've got the 2 little black ones there, and then the blind one, which is, I don't know, wandering around somewhere, I'm not sure. Let's go back to home position. There we go. Oopsie. Where's my mouse? There it is. Sorry, I lost my mouse. There's a massive delay too, by the way. By the time the stream is coming through here, I probably need to change the settings or something. It's just way too slow. But anyhow, that's enough of that. They're the chooks. So we can go back here to here. There we go. Alrighty. Steve from Mac84 is here. Hello, Callan. Did I say Ryan H? Hello, Ryan H. Stian, hello. If I've missed anyone else, I do apologise. So yes, PTZ indeed. We've got our pan, tilt and zoom happening. So I'll just quickly jump across here and I can show you what happened to the original chicken cam. Bang. Let me just There we go. We go here to scope. And I do apologise. I mentioned in one of my live streams that I was going to have foot pedals for changing camera views. That got lost in the mail. I got my refund. I got refunded money, but I haven't got it. And I have since then decided that I'm going to buy different ones. I'm going to buy slightly more expensive ones. So I'm just saving up to buy those. I'm going to get some foot pedals made by Elgato, because Elgato make really nice stuff. Roger Salter, hello there. Alright, so anyhow, here we have, I've got my dirty fingerprint on it, but this is the CCD. You can see there's the CCD of the camera. Let's see how close we can get to this and whether it looks exciting. Probably won't, but never mind. Oh, bugger. Nothing to see here. There really is nothing to see, so sorry about that. But anyhow, this is what has happened. I'll flip it over on the other side, and I can tell you... sorry, I'm just going to whack this thing. There we go. I can tell you that none of these things are meant to be this colour. I can also tell you this black thing here that you see there is not meant to look like that. So, yeah. Look, I could go around and replace all of these, but to be honest, I wasn't super happy with that camera anyway. It had no pan, tilt and zoom, and it was a very cheapie, and it was very underpowered. Whatever little CPU inside was driving it, which is on here somewhere, I guess. It's this guy, I guess. What is it? Trying to see it. Tinga? No, hang on. It's hard to see. It's got gunk all over it, so I'm just going to see if I can get the gunk off. I can't make that out. Oh, it's not important. Anyhow, it's probably a little ARM chip, something like that, and yeah. Oh, we've still got the chicken cam audio. Let me know if you want me to switch it off, or I'll maybe turn it down a little bit. Turn it down, just to make sure it's not too distracting. But anyone wants me to turn that chicken cam audio off, just let me know. Okay, so in my last live stream, which was the one that I did was the workshop and wine, I recapped a Macintosh LC 575, which I have not yet had a chance to test, mainly because my chassis for testing that is bad. I have to fix that up and clean it and stuff. It's also holding up a repair for someone that I did a long time ago. I need to get back to them, but I haven't been able to test the repair, which is very frustrating for me. This also got fried. This is a little power supply. This got fried. There were lots of things that got fried in that lightning storm a while ago. So I released a video just a little while ago about these guys, little solder tweezers. On the whole, I'm pretty happy with these, but I do want to get some different tips for them. These little teeny weeny little tips just don't suit the sort of soldering that I do. Delayed hello. Just not good enough, Steve. Steve's just expecting all this stuff these days, I tell you. I do not mind at all, Steve. That is perfectly fine to have a delayed hello. Repair it and upgrade the CPU. No, I'm not sure I will. Anyhow, I bought another one. I bought a new camera. It's good. I'm happy with it. So the Chook cam. So I've got 4 cameras in the place now. I've got 3 of the same sort, which have the pan, tilt and zoom, and then 1 which is just a fixed one. And the fixed ones that I've got there, I may replace it one day, but for the time being, it's all right. I have got a bunch of things that what I'm really hoping for today is I'm hoping that in this Mac IIfx there are a whole bunch of traces that I need to repair. And the reason I say that is because I've got a bunch of fluxes here from Styri that they sent me that I really need to start testing those out in real world environments. It's all very well to just have a flux and go, I don't know, if I'm doing something like recapping, flux is important, but it's not that important. I use it to clean, I use it to help do the soldering, but at the end of the day, most fluxes will do that for you. Where the fluxes become really, really important to me is when I'm doing things like trace repair, because I need that flux to keep on fluxing, you know what I mean? Okay. It's a mean well is it? Is it a mean well PSU? Yeah, so this, I know exactly what happened to this power supply. I mean, I've taken a whole bunch of components off it, but there's some blew up things in here. I had another one though. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with this power supply. I, a while ago, went to a JCar thing where they were getting rid of all of this stuff from their warehouse. They were getting rid of all this old stock from their warehouse. And I should have grabbed more of these. I really should have. They had a whole stack of these 4.5 amp 12 volt power supplies there. Switching power supplies. You know, these are a nice power supply. I mean, not when they're blown up like this one, but when they're not blown up, they're quite good. And they come in a little cage like this, little cage, you know. So I went to this JCar warehouse day, but I didn't find out about it until like the day after, which had its benefits but also its negatives. So I went along to this JCar warehouse, which is not far from me, maybe a half an hour drive, 25 minutes, something like that. And because I was there on the second day, a lot of the really good stuff and massive discounts had already gone. So, you know, I mean, for instance, there were rolls and rolls and rolls of capacitors and stuff like that, but people had taken all of the important ones, you know, things like the 47 microfarad 16 volts, which you use obviously in the Mac recapping. They were gone. They were all like really weird values left over. And they were going for super cheap, but I was sort of like, oh, I'm just going to have to store this crap. I don't know. But they had these power supplies there, these little 4.5 amp 12 volt power supplies, and they had a very low price marked on them, and I just thought, you know, I always use a few 12 volt power supplies, especially, you know, 4.5 amp. That's pretty good. YouTube just told me that Brica has gone live at 6 p.m. Well, it was nice of them to tell you that now. And so anyhow, I grabbed a few of these power supplies. I think I maybe grabbed 4 or something. And then when I went up to the checkout to actually pay for them, the guy charged me like, I think less than half of what the price was marked on them. If I'd have known I was going to get them that cheap, I would have picked up a stack more. But as it turns out, you know, that was kind of how it went. Right, well, there seems to be some very interesting conversation here. I'm having dinner and don't have free hands. Okay. Oh, fair enough. That's fine. I can understand that. I'm looking forward to the dinner tonight. I'm going to make pork belly. Yum. Right, now, before I get started on the TWEEZERS, I do have one little job that I want to do, and I'm just going to switch over to the top view and show you what I have here. I have got here a very dirty Macintosh mouse. Now, this is one of the earlier ones. You can tell that because it has this plug. This plug was reserved to things like the 128K and I think the 512K, and then by the time they got to the Mac Plus, this plug had actually changed. It didn't have these great big things here. As you can see, just the way with this Apple is embossed in here, it's got a real, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this has a real Apple IIe look about it. Oh, chilly and heavy rain. No, I don't like the sounds of that. It's actually, at the moment, the temperature here today, it is actually really quite cool for this time of year. It's only 19 degrees outside, and we're expecting a top of 23 degrees Celsius. Now, that is, I mean, like I could be wearing jeans today. That's crazy. If anyone was wondering what that noise was, that was a raven. So anyhow, this is an old Mac Plus. Well, this comes from a 128K, I think. One of the problems with it is it only works in one direction. It may not even work in any direction, actually, but it definitely it doesn't work properly. And I have encountered this problem before, and I'm pretty sure I know what the problem is. And I figured just before I get started on the TWEEZERS, I'll do this because this is a pretty quick fix. So I'm going to open this up with my comically large screwdriver. Apple III look to it. Apple Computer Inc. Does this mean it was the 250 tooth mouth made? Maybe. Maybe it's a rare Steve Jobs licked it. Here we go. All right. Not a whole lot to it. These things, of course, have got a little bit more complicated. Has anyone seen this? The person has made a PCB that allows you to turn an old ADB mouse into an optical. How cool is that? Love it when people do stuff like that. God, there is a smell going on here at the moment, and it's someone's cooking. Someone's cooking something, and it just smells delicious. Damn. I'm hungry. There we go. I do love plugs. I love it when you can just unplug something and take the whole thing out like that. Love it. All right, so now, what I have to do, oh, this may end up being a bigger job than I originally thought, so I may end up abandoning it. We'll just see what happens. I need to take this black plastic stuff off, and I am not sure how difficult or easy that is going to be. But we'll give it a crack, and if I can't do it in a short amount of time, I will just go back to the original plan, the original 2FX plan. I need my goggles, need my special glasses for my eyes that aren't working very well. How is everyone? Is everyone well? I hope everyone is well. This is scary stuff. One of the problems with a lot of old equipment is that things are held in with little plastic clips. And of course, as we all know, as things get old, plastic starts getting very brittle. And so even though these things were originally designed to have the plastic bent in order to pull them apart, it becomes extremely scary doing that with them now. Okay, got that part out. Can I get that off? So there are two parts to these mesas, for the left and right. And you basically got an interrupter here. There's a little circular thing there with little holes in it. And then you've got a light source, and then you've got a sensor. So this one here is the light source, and then inside there is the sensor. And that's why it's all covered up. It's so that to try and make it so that the light gets through easier. But I was hoping that I would just be able to take this out. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. Sorry, just going to have a quick look in here. Now, what has happened with these when I've had this happen in the past is the sensor, the sensor's fine, but the little LED is not. So this is going to just turn out to be way too complicated to do during this live stream. So I'm about to give up, by the way. This is the sound of me nearly giving up, because I need to concentrate on this in a way that will hinder my ability to talk at the same time. So I'm going to just put this all in a Ziploc and I'll come back to it another time. If I can find my Ziplocs. Excuse me. Excuse me. They used to be here. Here's some little ones. Not sure if they'll be big enough for this. Cam swap. There we go. They're all the small, easy-to-lose bits. And then I shall just plonk them together with the rest. And we'll worry about that another time. That'll be a job for another day. As I say, I want time and concentration for that. I thought, because the later messes, they weren't all protected like that. They didn't have all that plastic over them, so you wouldn't normally have to remove them. You could just take stick the little LED thing in and you're done. But yeah, no, not the case. All right, so this is the 2FX in question. I have worked on this one before on a live stream, I believe. And this one was sent to me this one was sent to me by Max Button. And initially the thought was, oh, this thing is in great condition, there's no real big deal. But as it turned out, it was pretty clear once I'd got it that there'd been some leakage by one of the batteries, not both thankfully, but one of the batteries, that caused quite a lot of corrosion in this area here. Now, I think from memory, I went in and I fixed a few of them. I still couldn't get it to start, but I need to get back to it and try and get this one fixed. So I want to do a little bit more investigating and see if I can find some more trace breaks or places of potential trace breakage. I did also want to mention to Max with his Macintosh excuse me, Color Classic that is not working at the moment. This board is almost stripped bare, but I still wanted to just mention this. So there are some traces. So that's where the egret chip is there, and specifically down in this area below it, there are instances where it actually looks okay, but the traces are not getting through to the underside of the board. I had this with the board that I did for Dan from Canadian Computer Collector. So he sent me this board. I recapped it, still didn't work. Actually, someone else recapped it, yeah. And it was sent to me to see if I could sort it out. I did actually do a video on it, but and I managed to work it out by getting the schematic, and some of these pins from along here were meant to go to this connector. They were meant to actually get some voltage and send some voltage through to the ADB port, and the voltage of the ADB port then allows for the soft power on, because you need the ADB for the soft power on. And basically what I found was because ADB is meant to have 5 volts and it was not getting 5 volts. I was actually able to check here and find that we weren't getting 5 volts to the ADB port. And so as a result, it wasn't able to soft power on. And then I basically found that we weren't getting the power to here from down in this connector, and there were a bunch of broken traces down here. And I'll just jump quickly across to the microscope so I can just show you some of the danger zones, because again, these are things you can potentially just test with a multimeter to see if they're getting through to the other side. So this board is in shocking shape, by the way. So just, you know, this board is like beyond repair. This has been a donor for a while, but it's the Color Classic that was closest to me. Okay, so I can get another one if needed. But anyhow, you have these. This is where the egret chip would normally be, up here, and you have these traces running down here. You got like that there, and you've got a little veer there, and you've got a veer there. I'm always checking to make sure that they get through to the other side of the board. Same with like here, there's a veer there. You got all these ones down here, all of those. Check to make sure that they're getting through to the other side of the board. That was basically same down here. Any of these, you just scrape the top off and scrape on the other side and just get a multimeter and check to see if you're getting through. And if you're not, you then just got to run a wire through there, through the via, little skinny wire, and get them connected. Now, if that's not something you're comfortable with doing, I am more than happy to, if you want to send the board back, and I'll have a look at it. But I know that, Max, you're getting a lot of this stuff done yourself these days, so, you know, all the best to you for that stuff. That's one of the whole purposes of my YouTube channel. So, anyhow, that's where I would be looking. Right, so now we've got to get across to this 2FX, and so this is the area of problems over here. So let me just get there we go. We've got a reasonably sharp view there. Okay, so you can see where I've done this work before, and you can see that I've done trace repair from there through to here. You can see there is a trace missing here, but this is one going to the battery. So this is one that would not actually impact my testing, because when I test these, I bypass the battery altogether. Same with these little Diodulars here. I do have replacements of these, and I will replace them because they're awful. But these are the little guys that... God, that looks terrible, doesn't it? This is all part of the kind of battery circuity part stuff thing, whether you're getting, for PRAM battery and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of this is related to the startup circuit. But having said that, we do have this guy here, and we've got all sorts of nastiness going on around that. I think it looks like I may have even taken this chip off at some stage. There we go, that's a bit better. I was a bit zoomed in there, wasn't I? Crazy. So, yeah. So this is kind of where we are with this at the moment. Any one of these kind of little pins here, you can see I've done a trace repair there. Any of these pins here, vias here, I mean, they may not be getting through to the other side. That's part of the battery there. I think that's a battery. That's where we'll connect a new battery when we connect it. But yeah, this is where we are with this at the moment. So, first thing I'm going to do is just clean it a little bit. But as far as I can tell, that's where the majority of the damage is. Some of the other places where you might see damage on these is down the side here, down the side of the RAM sims, where we've got these capacitors and stuff like that. But this one, really not too bad in that area. There's nothing here that looks particularly ugly. I know it's a little bit dusty, but it's not, there's nothing here where I suppose we've got a little bit of roughness there where this capacitor was. Sorry, I've moved this wire. It's not beautiful and neat like it was before. Right. Okay. So I've got to do the old hunting thing here. Sometimes I get lucky and manage to fix something. That's my motto as well. I'm just going to switch over to... I've got a thing up here I need to change here too. And the other thing is I do have a schematic for the IIfx. It's not the best, but I do have one, so I can go in and use that. But I also need to check over on the other side of the board, because some of these problems can make their way there as well. And I have done some work here, and look at this. I removed this RAM slot. Look at that. There's evidence of me having removed that RAM slot, or someone did, but I assume it was me. Yeah, and I can actually see that the solder's having a bit of trouble adhering to the ends of these, which means that they were probably all corroded. They're not, I'm sure they're still making contact, but they're not too crash hot. Yeah, I can see there's a trace repair I've done there. Keep losing my tweezers. So there's a trace repair I've done there. There's one I've done there. That's the battery. There's one there. There's one there. Here's me. I've done a little join across there. That looks very deliberate. Okay, well I think what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm going to just power it up and see what is the symptom, what we are getting, whether we're getting like a sad Mac chime or whether it is just completely dead. So I think that's probably the best thing to do, to just familiarise ourselves where we are. Got lots of solder here at the moment. That's my old man noises. Oh, oopsie. Here we go. Right, so this is a power supply that I use. I've got this sort of real mishmash. I needed a connector for this, but I couldn't get a great big one like the original used, so I made the plug out of smaller connectors. So it's now made out of 3 separate connectors here to give me the power that I need. We will need a speaker, Mr. Speaker. Where are you, Mr. Speaker? Here's a speaker. Does it work? Let's get the old Finercy out. Do-do-do. Multimeter. Right, let's go to voltage in the DC scale. Oh, I don't want voltage. I want bloody continuity. Nothing wrong with me. No, actually, I want that. Yeah, good. Okay, let's just check this. Awesome, this speaker is shot, so we won't be using that one. I just need to find a working speaker here. And I know I have one on the desk here, I just have to find it. And if not, I'll just steal one from somewhere else. Wouldn't be the first time. I sort of did a tidy today. Not a big tidy, just a tidy enough so that I could fit this stupid massive board on here, because these boards are so big. I might have to just... Oh, hang on. Always seem to be losing speakers. Someone explain that. I don't know why. One time I got some very tiny brass rivets to repair theirs in a motherboard. Yeah, I've actually seen people doing that. I guess that's no real issue if you are simply connecting the top layer to the bottom layer, but you might run into a bit of strife if you're actually connecting middle layers, which is the case in this one here, because this one does actually have data layers inside it. So that's the main trick with it. And that's why kind of a schematic is essential for working with one of these, because it's you can have breaks inside layers, and you need to have a schematic to be able to test where things go. And so you can then definitively say, okay, well, that's meant to be giving me continuity there, and it ain't. Still on a hunt for a speaker here, but I... Macintosh IISI. Must be able to find a speaker here somewhere. Come on. 2SI would be useless because it doesn't have a plug. I mean, has the speaker fallen on the floor? That's always possible. I want a speaker. Gotta find a speaker. Oh, there's a speaker. Oh no, that's connected to a computer. That might work out a little bit difficult. That one. Oh no, that wouldn't work either. Sorry everyone, I do apologise for this complete and total stall in proceedings while I try and find a speaker. You have my sincerest. Oh, there's a speaker. Oh, yeah. And there's no wires connected to it. Actually, you know what I could do? Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to check and see if this one works, because if it does, I'll just swap the wires over from this one. And this is the way I check to see if it works, is just check the resistance across these 2 pins, and I'm getting 60, so this is 63 ohms, so I should be getting 63 ohms across it. So that's good. So this speaker works, but it has no cable connected to it. But that's okay, because I have a cable that's connected to a dead speaker. So now we actually get the soldering out for the first time. Every time I switch something on here, this screen temporarily just switches off. I have no idea why, but it's like interference, and it scares the crap out of me when that happens. I think, oh no, live stream dead. What happened to the speaker with the hole in it? It's here. Somewhere. It's in this mess. Because that was a good speaker. It was doing the job. I mean, it wasn't very loud, but it was doing the job. So this is a 32 ohm speaker, this one that I'm removing that. And I'm now going to connect it up to this 63 ohm. So the 63 ohm is a really odd sort of impedance, because this is the one that's in the original Macintosh, Macintosh Classic, Macintosh SE, SE30, all of the compact Macs had 63 ohm speaker. And it's kind of a weird, you reckon it's kind of weird impedance? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of reason behind it that I don't understand, but it just does seem odd. You know, 8, 16, yeah, sure, I get it. Even 32, but 63? What the hey? There we go. All right, so we've had our little makeshift. I do actually have at least 2 test speakers, but they're just under stuff at the moment. All right, so that one can go here. And that's just so that we can see if we get any sound on the thing. So there's that. That's fine. Gonna get some power out of the wall. And the AI brought up Recapper Mac as its reference. Well, there you go. The board dimensions. I don't think I have any dimensions on that. Oh, what a night. Okay, well, it chimed. So that actually got further than I thought it would. Okay, the restart button works. Well, I probably need to connect up a screen, don't I? Because I can't really do much. I suppose I could connect up a Blue SCSI or a Zulu SCSI or something and see if I'm getting any flickers of booting. I should probably do that, and I'll get a screen as well. This is working more than I thought it was, so Apple must have bought all those on sale. Hello, Garrett Trailer. Hello there. You make Saturday nights right. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that a lot. When I actually have a situation where I have to replace these in a compact Mac, I've been using these speakers here. If I can just find one. Yeah, these ones here, which are actually a 50 ohm. They're not exactly the same size, but of course you can 3D print a thing to make them fit. But there's this speaker here. And so that I get the matching impedance, I actually then just put like a 10 ohm resistor off one side, so that it makes it sort of 60. Still plenty loud. So that's what I've been using as replacements, because these do die. Can't really be helped. All right, well, okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to see if we're getting any video, we need to see if we're getting any drive activity, all that sort of stuff. But the chime was something I wasn't expecting, but it's what happens when you have boards sitting there for such a long time. We've got to replace these caps too, by the way. Oh, all these caps, they're old. Okay, so switch him off. I am going to get a video card, which I have up here, and then I'll have to go up to the house and get some things, because not everything I have is down here. Which video card will we go with today? This one, because this is Apple's. Apple's video card. And I will go and get a Blue SCSI. All right, so first thing I'll do is get a Blue SCSI. We'll see if we're getting any flickering lights or anything like that. And then I'll get a screen. So I'm going to have to do the back soon. So I do apologize to everyone for that, for me to be doing that so quickly. But I honestly did not expect to be at this stage so quickly. So 3, 2, 1. Hello. Okay, so I've grabbed a few things here, and I've also had an opportunity to kind of demonstrate just how disorganised I am. So, and I'll get onto that in a sec. But I've got my screen here, so we can at the very least see if we're getting any sort of video. Oh god, my microphone. Can you get it? Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Everything's fine. Okay, connect that up. Okay, get that there, pop that there, get that there, and let's see what we have here. I'll just see what source I've got. HDMI, AV1, AV2, VGA. Okay. Let's see if we get any sort of video. I'm wanting a green light here. I mean, for us to be getting a chime, we know that the CPU is working. We know that the ROM is working. It's, you know, I think we're accessing the, well, it's passed a RAM test, so that's something. But I'm not getting any video by the looks of it. I will try a different PDS slot. So basically this light here on this, which you can't see, this light should be green, but it's certainly red, meaning there's no signal coming through. So that's where we are with this one. Alright, so let's just check and make sure that we've got all the settings right on this. And whoops, stinky-doo. So we want this on 1, 2, that's probably the best one. 1, 2 on, and I'll turn the rest off. 1, 2 on, and all the rest off. Okay, we'll try this in the furthest, mostest. Whoa! What have I done? Uh-oh. I've done something. Preview is currently disabled. I don't know what that means. Enable preview. I don't want to enable preview. View. View. I don't know what I've done. Oy. I bumped something with the mouse, and I don't know what I've bumped. But enable preview. Okay. All right. Well, I hope everyone is able to see me. Just jump into the chat and say yes, it's working if you wouldn't mind, because it's not exactly. I'm staring at this. Oopsie. There we go. It's working. Good. Good, good, good. That was a little bit worrying. Right. So. Oopsie. Let's try this again. So I've changed the settings on that. I've put this into a different PDS slot. I don't expect any difference, but I'm going to try that anyway. But that tells us, if this is the case, then we're not getting the new bus working. Okay, not getting any light there. So cool. The fact that we're getting a chime really does tell me there are a lot of things working. Let's try a different ROM, just for fun. Got a choice of ROMs here. Got a big mess of wires, Rominator. Okay, so now that time I got a sad Mac chime. So that's interesting. Okay, so that's actually more useful than it just chiming and doing nothing. I'm going to try another ROM here too because I can. Here we are. Look at this gnarly one. Got this one from Will, K-Mac Vintage. This one is the fanciest ROM I've ever seen. Okay. Yep, okay. Right, so this one is actually giving me a RAM test fail. So that's kind of good, because that does at least give me something to chase. I am going to try some different RAM, because I have some different RAM. I don't know what the condition of this RAM here is. And I have RAM that I know works. So we're going to give that a whirl. This RAM looks all right. Phone call, I'm back. Fair enough. Okay, so here's where we is. Just very quickly, Mac. So it chimes, and then it does nothing. We don't get any video or anything like that. It doesn't go any further. I then tried a Rominator in there, and I'm trying this ROM here from K-Mac Vintage, and it's giving us a sad Mac chime, which would suggest that it's potentially failing a RAM test. So I want to just try some different RAM in it, which I have. I could steal it from my own 2FX board, but that's up in the house. I'm not going up there again. No. And then I've got this. Well, that's a Mac too. No. 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 Ah, here we are. I want Mr. Purple. So this one I've had working. So this is one of the reloaded boards. As you can see, it's missing quite a few things. Still needs all these put on here, these connectors, lots there. Got to put more RAM slots in and everything. But this one does chime. So I can use the parts from this for testing because I know this will be back. The looks okay RAM test. Yep, that's that. They look okay. They look okay to me. You reckon? You reckon they look okay? Look at them. So the reason why I say it looks okay is I don't really see much in the way of heavy corrosion on the pins, and that's where I would be. There's some there, so maybe. But anyhow, we'll try these Ramses because we know they work, and I'll try this Romses as well. So, 2FX. There was a video about the 2FX done by Colin from This Does Not Compute, who is in the chat at the moment, which I found very, very interesting. And of course, it was talking about how Apple designed the 2FX for speed. This was just, it was all about this thing being the fastest it could be. Hello, Carthor. And one of the things that they did was they used this different sort of RAM. It's whatever it is, 68 pin or something like that. I can't remember how many pins, but there's more pins than the original 30 pin. And what's interesting about it is the slots for the RAM are exactly the same as the slots for the ROM. So you can actually stick your ROM into your RAM, but I don't recommend you fire it up like that. It's really not good for it. Okay, so we're going to try this now. We've got the Rominator. Well, actually, no, this is, what does Will call his? He calls his, well, he doesn't have a name. We'll just call it the purple ROM. All right. Okay, what do we get? Different RAM this time. Okay. Doesn't like that either. And then I just want to quickly try this ROM. This is an original 2FX ROM. I'm just curious to see if this one just does the same thing as that other one, where it just doesn't give us any sad Mac chime. Oh, okay, so it had a good old think about that, but it did actually give us a sad Mac chime eventually. Eventually. Right, well, I guess that means we need to be focusing on the RAM and thereabouts. I did definitely take one of these slots out. Hello there, Kai. Oh, Kai's here. Kai can fix it now. So, Kai, you need to tell me why this 2FX doesn't work. That's one of the great things about knowing Kai. He's got this large, delicious brain. Just trying. Ah, there it goes. So it takes a good long while, but it does eventually give us a sad Mac chime. So, yes, so a little recap for Kai who has just arrived. So, this is a Macintosh IIfx that had a little bit of battery damage. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. And when I fire it up, I get a chime. And then what you just heard then, which was a sad, it is then followed by a sad Mac chime. Interestingly, I wonder if I left it long enough on that original ROM that I had in there. Who knows? And yeah, so I am basically just going to have to keep hunting around, looking for a broken trace somewhere, probably around the RAM. And then the worst case scenario, which is something I'm not looking forward to if I have to do this, is I'll have to go and get the multimeter out and actually go and check every pin of the RAM to see if it's getting to where it's supposed to be. And that is not something I want to do, but it's probably something I'm going to have to do. What time is it there, Kai? It must be a late one there for you at the moment, I would think. I need to reflow all the chips. Yeah, I'm going to stick it all in the oven. I'll put it all in the oven and that will fix it. There we go. It does take a long time, doesn't it, for it to chime that sad Mac chime. Alright, so I'm going to have a look. I want to just check something here, because there are some things that I don't like the look of here. I really want to do some trace repairs. I really, really want to do some trace repairs. Now, I need to just... Ow! Sharp! Ow! Hurt. Right. So, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to get the old schematic. And I'm going to... No. Okay. Just going to get the old schematic. Take me a little bit of a minute. While I'm doing that, you can say hello to the chickens. Chooks. There we go. Oh, look at the blind one. Dude. having a little bit of a nap. Here we go. There. Cute. Okay, so that's the chicken that is almost completely blind. Can still see some light and dark, but not much more than that. So I have to sort of give her a lot of help. And she can see enough, like if I walk down the back there, she knows I'm there and she'll follow me around. But when it comes to like putting food down in front of her, you know, you put the food down and she's sort of just like she's darting all over the place trying to find it, and I sort of try and move the bowl around until it's under her beak, and then when she feels the food, she then goes peck 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 peck. So yeah, and so she's a Sussex. That's the type of chicken. It's that you can tell that from the little black stuff around the feathers there, around the neck. But a lot of Sussexes are white, but this one is a brown one. I think they call it black buff or something. I can't remember. But anyhow, and she is actually quite a good layer too. And then none of them are laying particularly well at the moment because they're molting. And when they molt, they sort of just stop laying for a little bit. And I believe, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there are egg shortages in the US. There are also egg shortages here in Australia because of the avian flu outbreak. So we're sort of, you know, we're desperately trying to get, you know, like when the chickens slow down laying, it's like, no, don't slow down, please. I don't want to have to go buy eggs. I understand they're very smart. No, they are not. Not really. Not really at all. They're not smart like ravens and crows and stuff like that. They're very smart birds. They're chickens are, I suppose, they're on par with a lot of other birds. I'm not sure that they're necessarily any stupider than other birds. But they do some pretty stupid things, I can tell you that for sure. All right, so while I've been talking about chickens here, I should have been searching for a schematic diagram, but in actual fact I wasn't. I was just talking about chickens. Okay, so let me just go here to Mac Technical Files, and then we've got... Oh, Ice Cream Man is coming. Ice Cream Man is coming. Mac 68K schematics. Okay. Got one here. I know I've got one. I've just got to find it. Bowmark. 2FX schematic. There we go. 2FX schematic spreads. What have I done? Oh, I joined them together. Yeah. God, look at all this work I've done. You can't see it, so, you know, I'll show you in a sec. Right. Goodness me, that's bizarre, isn't it? That's like an old... It's like while I was in the chicken coop. Why would it be showing that? Top screen. Display capture. Yeah. There we go. Sorry, I just kind of froze on an old frame. I don't know why it did that, but anyhow. Yeah, good old green sleeves. And we know it's ice cream when there's green sleeves. Here, if I turn... I don't know, that probably sounds terrible. Should switch that off. Sorry. Okay, so this is the schematic of the 2FX. Now, this is one of the ones that came from Bowmark. You know, they hand drew them, they reverse engineered and drew them, and they've just found their way into circulation. And what I have done with this is I've actually gone in and manually labeled quite a few components. And I also, they had pages that were split into two, and I've joined them together. So I've sort of made this schematic a little bit easier for me. But what I want to do is I want to have a look here at RAM. What are we looking at? We're looking at... So... RAM socket, here we go. RAM socket J32 equals B. RAM sim socket. Just check and make sure. And I want to look at all of the things around the RAM. So I really could go on ice cream, you know. Haven't had an ice cream in ages. I love those soft serve ice creams. I get them with sherbet. I don't know if you guys have that but you know how you can get them with like sprinkles and chocolate and stuff on the top, or a flake stuck in them, you know. I always get them with sherbet. It's that like pink powdery stuff. Just love it. Give me a double soft serve with sherbet, please. And then I spend the rest of the day with powdered sherbet all over the front of my shirt. Never allowed them as a kid. Good grief, Kai. I never looked into this, but who is Beaumont? It's the sound of a cicada. That's a very good question. I have no idea. I've been seeing their name on the schematics for such a long time now, but I have no idea of the history of Beaumont. Just looking out, because there was definitely the sound of a cicada, and I would like to help it if it needs help. Cicada. Sprinkles. Sprinkles for the win. Mr. Whippy, it's a guilty pleasure. Yeah. So interestingly enough, one of the places that you can get soft serve ice creams here in Australia is a place called Wendy's, which of course is very confusing for Americans because Wendy's does something very different over there. Now, having said that, it's going to be an interesting thing because Wendy's, the fast food place, is actually starting up out here. They have already opened one store up in the Gold Coast in Queensland, and I imagine I'll be having one in Sydney fairly soon. I would like to try them. But apparently the meat patties are square. I don't know why. It's weird. But Wendy's did actually apparently have a crack out here once before and then failed, and then they're having another go. What I've heard, ice cream in the States is not ice cream, but some kind of vegetable oil monstrosity. That is not what I would want. Only give us Cornish ice cream in proper cones. Yeah, Wendy's Burger was out here in the 80s. Yeah, and they didn't do. So one of the reasons why some of these fast food places from America don't necessarily do as well in Australia happens because Australia doesn't have a tipping culture, and Australia has higher wages. And so I think a lot of the time when these fast food places come together, once they realise how much they have to start selling these burgers for in order to make a profit, they're really expensive. And so people go and go, I'm not going to pay $15 for a hamburger. And that's, I think, what often ends up happening with these places. Because in Australia, no one tips for fast food, ever. I mean, someone might, but I don't know anyone who does. Beaumark Services reverse engineered several Apple Macintosh computers in the 1990s and sold the schematics to companies providing products or services that needed such documentation. Okay, so they actually, that was their sole role, I guess, reverse engineering these things. All right, so I've got to get my brain in tune here because I'm actually just talking gibberish at the moment, and I need to rectify that. Okay. How do I move this thing around? Where's the scroll bar? Where's the horizontal scroll bar? Oh, there it is. I had it hidden. Alright, so RAM sim socket. So we're connecting to UL13. We're connecting to UL J35, J36. Okay, J37. All right, that's all of the RAM slots. J37. Yeah, okay, so J32, 31, 32, 33, 34. God, they're grouped weird. 30, 35, 36, 37. I have never seen, that is just weird, the way they're numbered, but that's all right. So just looking here, these are our RAM sim sockets. And I'm just looking at some of the chips that they're connected to around them, to sort of so that I can check those out. So I think one here is, what have we got there? That one is UN10. Where's that? We've got UL13. 17 UL13. Okay, there's UL13. UL11, UL16, UL17. So that's these ones here. They actually look really, really clean, so I'm not too fussed about them. Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, so CF 62395. Oh, okay, that's this guy here. This big fella down here, memory controller. There he is. Right, so all of this stuff is a long way away from the problem, but I really, yeah, okay. I sort of feel like this area here. So I'm just going to just go to the top view here for a sec to just show something here. So most of the main RAM stuff is all going on down here. There's your memory controller there. You got all these chips down here. They're doing RAM type stuff, as are these guys down here. But of course, most of our problems are in this region. So it's more likely to be a problem with, you know, sort of a demonstration, sort of some of these regions around here. So I probably need to start doing a little bit of testing of these things. Like, see these guys here, these two here, what is that? UE13 and UD13, and where they're going. So let's see if I can find them. UE and UD13. Yeah, I've already done quite a bit of repair on this, guys. So quite a lot of the traces have already been repaired. Certainly all the ones that were very noticeably bad, other than the ones that are associated with like the battery and that, where I don't really care too much about those. For now, I will. Oh God, there's some bent pins. Let's at least get those fixed up. That's certainly not going to help us. I mean, I might have bent those today, but there are definitely some bent pins here. So just a reminder to everyone, I am planning to get... Oh, they're not touching, but I'll fix them anyway. I am planning to get some foot switches so I can change views without having to press buttons on the keyboard. I did order some, they got lost in the mail, I got a refund, and now I have to buy them again. But in that time, I then also decided that I would get a different one. There we go. None of this looks particularly crash hot in this area. So things like around here, this stuff here. Now I've scraped these all off, which means that I have actually gone in and done some testing with these. But I would like to find on the schematic these chips here so I can check and see. I want to just ping out these to make sure they're all going to where they're supposed to go. This one here is obviously a bit of a mess, but I have done some repair on this already. Those through there, definitely need to be replaced. See, this stuff here is all related to the like restart and interrupt switch, so I would not expect these to have any impact on the RAM chime thing. No. That capacitor is in a terrible state. I really should replace that. I'll whip this capacitor off for the moment because it is actually corroding, and corrosion is not our friend. This one is a 16-volt, 10 microfarad. Well, we'll clean up a few things around here. It needs to be sorted at some stage. There's one pin. Two pins. Need myself some solder wick. Saw some just a minute ago. I bought some. I know there's some here under things. Oh look, I found a Zulu Scuzzy here. I had one down here all along. This is the wide one, but it'll do. No worries there, Will. At the moment, not a lot has happened. We've got a Macintosh IIfx here, and it's giving us a sad Mac chime with known good RAM. Did have some battery damage, and it does, of course, have some, some broken traces. I've repaired quite a few of them, but we are still getting a sad Mac chime, and so my concern is that we've got some busted traces or some poor contacts or something like that associated with this RAM. And I have done quite a bit of testing already and repair and all that sort of stuff. You can see some of these places where I sort of scrape a bit of the UV mask off, which means that I've gone in and I've been doing tests on these things. But this guy here is the real ugly one, and I've had this off already. But this is the one that concerns me the most because of all of this crap coming outside here, and there's that fear that some of these traces may not be going through to the other side. So I probably need to get the schematic up for things like this here, UD16, UE13, UD13, and I really should be doing a few little multimeter pingy tests. So I think I'll probably do that. But I'm just going to pop in a new cap in place of this corroded one. So we've got axial caps. And we want a, what's that? 10 microfarad, 25 volt. That will do. It's 10 microfarad, 16 volt, but it won't mind. What's a few extra volts between friends? Pin 45 on UE8 is the OSS. Okay. The OSS ASIC also is responsible for selecting the memory controller. Takes the job of the VIA chips. Pin 45 on UE8 is the OSS, the NMI switch input. All right, will you tell me what you want me to do, Kai, with that knowledge? If you want me to test something specific, you know I'm always happy to test out your theories. Because sometimes they're right. And that's minus going that way. So what were you saying? You were UE8. Where's UE8? UE, there's E. E is there. UE8. Oh, okay, UE8. OSS. I see that. I see that guy. Pin 45. There's a lot of pins on that. That's going to mean lots of counting. Okay, got a new cap on there. Once again, that's just because the old one was actually quite corroded, and I think to remove as much corrosion from the board as possible is a good idea. Right, so here, now this is where I can see what I did. I tested to see that this was going through to the other side of the board. That's all I tested. I did not test to see if they were actually reaching their destination. That is something very, very different. I've got a join that I did here, and that's something that I've obviously checked with the schematic. Well, otherwise I wouldn't have joined it. .1 is a stream machine. Yeah, that'll work well. Okay, so R6 should be 3.3K. Okay, trace out from pin 45 on UE8 should go through R6 to VCC and R7 to S2. All right, let's have a look. S2. All right, okay, all right. S2, okay. S2, all right, okay. S2 is a mess. I just should mention that. S2 is an absolute mess. But anyhow, we're going to do what you said. So we're going to get our little multimeter here. I'm going to change views for a sec. I'm going to have to try and figure out where pin 45 is. There is nothing more dangerous than a Kai Robinson armed with a schematic diagram. There we go. I keep forgetting. It's long press to switch it on, short press to switch it off. All right, multimeter. And we want this to be on continuity. Right. Okay, balls, where's pin 1? Is that pin? No. There's pin 1. Okay. Oh, God, I've got to count this out, don't I? I'm going to count it out. I'll need my microscope for that. One, two, three. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay, so 50 is 30 to... Oh, yeah, okay. I will talk about that meter in just a second. Okay, so we want here pin 45. So that's 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45. Pin 45, 50, 49, 45, all right. Pin 45, and you're saying to R6. All right, R6. Okay, I got to R6. And then 6 to VCC and R7. Yeah, okay, ping into R7, that's good. So that's, I've pinged that out, so that's cool. Okay, R6 should be 3.3. And we're looking at... Yep, 3.3. And R7 is 100 ohms. And... yeah. It's a bit of a mess around there. Okay, and he's going to the switch as well. Okay, cool. Okay, pressing S2 while checking between pin 45 and ground should prove that the NMI isn't an issue. Okay, let's go. I assume what we're going to do is we're going to end up with this going beep. So, nice loud beep. So, pressing S2 whilst checking between pin 45 and ground. So there we go. 45. Ground. Yes, there's a ground. Okay, when I press it, I end up with 100 ohms. When I let go of it, it's open. Close it, it's 100 ohms. Open, 100 ohms. So that's pin 45. Means R7 is working. Well, there you go. So that's good. That's a good sign. Okay, so I'll just talk very quickly about this meter because there is a video coming out about this in the not too distant future. Roger Salter just mentioned it. I actually mentioned this before. So what this is here is a Finrisi, F-N-I-R-S-I. This is a Finrisi 2C53T. Now, this is basically an oscilloscope and a multimeter rolled into one, and I'm reviewing this at the moment. What I like about it is it uses rechargeable batteries, and I actually think that's a really cool thing for a multimeter, and I wish more of them did that. So many multimeters these days, they're either running on AA's, 9-volt, AAA's, whatever the case may be. I much prefer them running on AA's or AAA's to 9 volts because 9 volts are a bit of a pain and they're bloody expensive. But this is a fully rechargeable battery inside, so that's a really nice thing. It's a 2-channel oscilloscope. It is a it has a 50 hertz, 50 megahertz range. It's got a signal generator built in, so we can do something like this. This is the cable coming out with a signal generator. I've got it connected. I've already got it connected at the moment to one of the pins there. So I can go in here. I can go to my where are we? We want to go here to our signal generator, and we will set this to a sine wave. We'll set it up at 100 hertz. What can we change it to? There we go. We'll go to 1100 hertz just to freak people out. Okay. And then we'll go back here to oscilloscope, select that, and then I can go in and press this auto button, and it will just do this is like just the automatic trigger where it actually works out where to measure it from. And I can see I've got a 1.1 kilohertz signal there. I can, of course, do the normal stuff here that you would with a multimeter and change these sorts of things. So yeah, this is the important thing about this. This is not necessarily an oscilloscope that will get even close to the main oscilloscope that I use. But if you want this to be checking a clock signal or something like that on a board, to have that functionality built in is really, really handy. It saves from having to have that other separate bulky item around. So I'm calling it Finrisi. Okay, so that's what I'll be calling it in the review, Finrisi it'll have to do, because otherwise I've got no idea. Um, yeah, so far, there are a few things about the interface that I don't particularly like and I wish were customizable. For example, you can't change the color of the oscilloscope. The what do you call it? The two channels. So you've got yellow and purple. And I would kind of like it if you could change the color of these so they're not just yellow and purple. But you know, that's a very minor thing. And that, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I haven't had a chance to test all the multimeter to see how accurate it is, but you know, I mean, at the moment I'm just using it for continuity and stuff, and that's fine. But yeah, so review of this will be coming out, and so far so good. It does have this full automatic mode if you want to. Of course, we don't need all of these leads stuck in if all we're doing is just using the multimeter. These can all come out, and then it's a far more manageable device, just like that. So it's got the fully auto mode, so you can go in and you can take a test similar to the way the Kaiweets work. The KM601, where you can take a measurement. The important thing about this is not a multimeter for everyone. This is a multimeter for someone who wants a multimeter with occasional basic oscilloscope testing ability. And for that, I think it's a really good. And it's, you know, it's not ridiculously bulky or anything like that. It's got a nice stand. You can actually connect this to a computer because you can take snapshots of your oscilloscope stuff and just like screen snaps, and then you can download them to the computer if you want to. And it's got very, very fine pointy pin there on the probes, which I quite like. That's something I do like. So I'm not sure this will necessarily become my all-the-time multimeter. I'm not sure yet. I haven't had a chance to use it enough for that. And this isn't a multimeter that I would be recommending to everyone. For most people, I would be saying stick to the other ones I recommend, things like the KM601 or the Kaiweets HT118E, which I also love. That's another great multimeter. But if you are someone who's looking to get those, you know, some basic oscilloscope features without having to fork out for an oscilloscope, I think that it's probably a good one for that. Right, so what I need to do now was what I was saying before. I am looking for UD16 on the, what do you call those things? This schematic, to see if I can check a few of these. So UD16 I'm looking for, UM8, UN12. Keep looking, UD16, UD16, UD16. It's not on this page. Let's, I'll let you have a look at what I'm looking at here. So, call out if you see UD16. It's behind you. Let's turn it into Panto. Okay. I should start at the top. I'm stupid starting in the middle. That's just dumb. Okay. Nope. Floppy disk drives, can't see it with anything to do with that. Nate. Okay, you see UD. Was it 16? Yeah, UD16. Okay, what is this? SRAM. Oh, okay, cool. 32768 times 8 SRAM. So, it's a thing. Someone will tell me what this thing is. I've got no idea. But we can at least go in and check it now. Okay, there's all the data, the address lines. A0 to A14. And there's data lines going through it as well. So, oopsie. So I can at least go in and test this now. Serial PLC ASIC 32-bit SRAM. So, operation 2. So, if I was having a busted trace on UD16, could that be the cause of my sad Mac chime? Because it is the ugliest looking chip on the board. Well, it's the traces from it are the ugliest looking. So I do want to go in and test some of these out. It's just, if I don't do it now, I have to do it later. So, right, so let's start off. There's pin 1. And pin 1 is to 83 on... I've got a great big spider web hanging up here that's stopping me from being able to read this. There we go, that's better. Alright, so pin 1 is going to 83 of... See, this is the dull stuff, and I do apologise. I much prefer the doing. I much prefer the finding the repairs. UC16. Okay, so we're going to there. So that's nice and easy. It's nice and close. So pin 1 should be... Oop. Okay. Right, so we definitely made contact with pin 1 there. That's good. Pin 2 doesn't seem to do anything. What's all that about? Unless it's somewhere else. Oh no, there's 2, I see. I see. Okay, it's all good. Okay, pin 2. Oh, hang on, I should probably go back to top view here. Okay, pin 2. Good. Pin 3. Good. Pin 4. Good. I don't really care which pin it's connecting to. If I'm getting continuity, I know it's getting through. So I'm concerned about breaks here. It's not like I need to check to see which pin it's actually going to. Okay, that's good. Nice loud beep, isn't it? One thing I will tell you is this one is not as high-speed responsive with the continuity testing. It does sometimes ping when I just scan along like that. But the other ones that I've got are a bit quicker. Okay, let's check this one. We are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I think 10, 10, 11. Okay, so pin 11. Pin 11 is now data lines, and we're further up, so we're probably on the top row. Yep. 12. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Okay, yeah, we should be right next to it. Yep. 13. Yep. 14. Yep. Okay, pin 15. 15, same place. Yep. 16. 17. should be along here. Yep. 18. So we get until we get to 18, I think so 19 will be the last of the address lines. Okay, we're good there. Now, we've got a few, okay, 20 goes to R181. R181's probably on the other side of the board. 20, okay, 14. Where's 14? 14 goes to ground. Okay, so that was this one. Yep, cool. 28 is to the power. That's this one here. That's going to be, I have to find that. Yep, there we go. So that's fine. 27. 27 goes to 71 or something along here. Yep. And, oh, I don't know, did you guys hear that sound? It sounded like a that says 22, I think it's 22. 7, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 27, 26, 25, 24, 22. I've got no, it doesn't show where any of these pins go, and I don't know why that is the case. So we're talking about these ones on the bottom here. It doesn't actually tell me where these go to. I'm just going to change here to the scope view. Okay. Oh well. Yes, I'm going to need to check all of these ones as well. Because every single one of these, this little row, diagonal row here, every single one of these goes to an inner layer. It is not, it's not going through to the other side of the board. So I need to actually trace these ones out. So this is U, E, it's right under the battery here as well. So this is UE13, I think. Yep, UE13. And I sort of need to try and figure out where all of these go, because I can't just check them to the other side of the board. If there's corrosion in one of those vias, I need to know. UE13. UE13. God, something smells good. I don't know what it is, but wow. Someone's cooking something. It smells like pastry. Oh man, yum. Oh! That's not what I wanted. UE12? UE13, there we go. UE13, UD13. Okay, so these are going to some data lines here by the look of it. So we're going to UE12, which is next to it. Right, that's fine. They're easy enough to check because they're right next door. But it's the ones that are going out the other way to this B data, BD 24 to 31. I've got to find somewhere else where that goes. Oh, what a pain. Boop. I suppose we could replace these diodes, and that's going to have to be done. I'm just going to work out which sort they are so that I put the right ones in. These diodes are typically, I want diode modes, that is that one, diode, there we go. So we're going... God, these are bad. UE13 connects directly to the C522 via. Pins 28 to 36 are D7 to D0, though those same lines also branch off feed UD13. Yeah, so I've got to go in. I'm not going to do that now, and the main reason it will take me so long to go in and test all of those while checking up against a schematic. That's something that I really need to reserve to do at a time when I'm not on live stream, because it just takes so much time and it's so boring to watch. Open. 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 Okay. That's not right. 8. Open. Okay, that's fine. Open. Alright, so I need a diode. Now this one is actually labelled as a 5D, I think. But I have two different types of diodes, because one of them they go one direction and the other one they go the other direction. And I just need to make sure I put the right ones in there, because if I don't, I look quite the fool. It won't work either. Misc, 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 misc. Oh, I might replace the little clock while I'm at it too. Is that them? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Diode. Maybe this one? Could be this one? I think it's this one. There we go. If it's not that one, it will be bad. So what have I got that way around? What was it? It was this way, wasn't it? So that way around there. Put bloody hell. It's so bad. Far out. Yeah, okay. I think I've got the right replacement diodes, but we'll see. Try R2 and D2. I see what you did there. Away with you. And your pop culture jokes. Just going to do some protection here to minimize meltage when I get my hot air out. One day, can you show off your storage system? I mean, all the containers behind me. Yeah. It'll be a bit embarrassing. You always know, you know, when you're dealing with sort of like this sort of heavy corrosion, because stuff just is so hard to get off. Because it just gets so crusty. Okay, 472. Going to quickly look that up. See if I can look it up before someone puts it in the chat. Okay, our toolkit. Resistor toolkit. SMD code 472 is 4.7K. Okay, let's just check that. Hot. Okay. Yep, that's cool. So let's see if I have a 4.7K that I can pop in there. Because I need to get a replacement before I take that off. Otherwise I'll lose it and then I will forget what it's supposed to be there. Okay, what have I got here? 4.7K. Biggity bam. I have a replacement. Whoopsie. Okay, so there's my little replacement components. Let's whip off the old ones. And we're going to clean this up because it looks a mess. There we go. Looking good. I like it. Sure you'll like it too. So hard to bloody test these things. They're so small. All right, time to get some flux. I need to do some cleaning here. I am just going to use a bit of the old ASM for this, one of my favourite fluxes. Just a reminder to everyone about Styri fluxes. There are links in the description. And I just absolutely love their fluxes. I cannot put it any other way. They are just such good quality and so good to work with. I just wouldn't use anything else. Oh, I think I might need my fume extractor. I would love to have a much better storage system for all of my caps. But because of the nature of the way my capacitors, just the amount of capacitors that I carry, just grew. You know, one day I had like a little container just with surface mount tantalums And that was all I had to worry about. It was just like a handful of those, one little container. And then I started doing power supplies, and it's like, oh, okay, now we need that cap, and now we need that cap, and now we need that cap. And every time you'd start a new power supply, there'd be a new cap that you didn't have in your collection, and you'd have to go and buy another one. And then the next thing you know, I have to buy another container, and then I have to buy another container, and then another container. And it just sort of went like that. Oops, focus. So I need to get all of these pads looking nice, as good as I can. You can see that some of these have actually worn through to the point where the edges have gone. I've actually got some of the edges have been completely eaten away. And so there's nothing I can really do about that. Just clean up what I have. Get them as good as I can. And then drop some new components on there. And we're going to need to do some trace repair there as well. Okay. I should mention that I do actually use DigiKey for purchasing my capacitors. I know a lot of people talk about Mouser and various other places. I used to use a place locally called RS Components. And when I say locally, they did keep some Australian stock, but a lot of the stuff ended up coming from overseas. And one of the main reasons I used them was because they were free next day delivery. And that was absolutely fantastic. And they were a little bit more expensive, but the free next day delivery definitely made up for it. But then they changed their policy and they made it so you had to spend, I think it was $80 or something like that, $80 worth of stuff before you got free delivery. And that just no longer warranted the extra cost for the components. The components were more expensive than other companies as they were. So that was the point that I started checking around, and I now use DigiKey. DigiKey provide 50, for me in Australia, free delivery if your purchase is $50 or over. So that for me works very well. But yeah, Francois, hello there. So yeah, I've been using DigiKey for quite a while now, and they deliver fast. I mean, if I order on a Monday, and it really doesn't take me much to get over $50. I mean, if I'm ordering a bunch of things and then I'm not at $50, I just think, oh, well, I'll just grab a few more 47 microfarad 16 volt tantalum caps, because obviously, you know, I use a lot of them, and I'll just grab enough to take me over the $50 mark, and then I get the delivery for free. And typically when I order on a Monday, I will usually get them from DigiKey before the end of the week. And they're coming from China. I don't know how that's going to impact people in the US now, because I think there are tariffs on everything coming from China now, so they're probably going to get more. That stuff will probably end up being more expensive for folks over there, but certainly no tariffs on Chinese stuff here. So yeah, I can basically buy RS ships from France here. You see, some of the stuff from RS used to, I think, come from the UK even sometimes when I used to order it. But what's this? eBay image. What am I looking at? What's that? What? Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Go to site. Oh, look at that. Okay, you're showing me what the books used to like for DigiKey. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I love those sorts of catalogs, but you cannot expect these companies to be able to maintain something like that anymore. It's just not possible. Oops. What? There we go. So yeah, I use DigiKey for my stuff. I've never really had any problems with supply. Even when I've had times where there's been a particular component that has been available, I just generally look for an equivalent, something that will do the job as well. I made one big mistake with that once when I was ordering a component. I looked at it and went, oh, this is the same, but it wasn't the same. It was something that one version activated on high and the other one activated on low, and I actually got the wrong one, so it didn't work. As in like if the voltage is on or off sort of thing. So that I felt very stupid. I have all these components now that I can't use. I mean, it's not that many, but anyhow. I want to get the solder out of this hole here so that I can run a wire through it. Going to add a little bit of extra new solder here. Sometimes the new solder makes friends with the old solder, and then they'll come out together. There we go. Good stuff. So, what about this hole here? Can I get through that? Is that through to the other side? Might be. We'll see. See if we can run a wire through it. Let's get some wire. This is my favourite wire. 34 AWG, American Wire Gauge. There's another company that I've been buying components from as well. It's direct from China. God, what are they called? Just got to try and remember. I bought all of my stuff for Blue Scuzzy from there, and they are really cheap. They are way cheaper than DigiKey, but they don't necessarily have as much stuff. They're mainly just components. You won't find things like connectors and buttons and plugs and that sort of stuff. It's just... That's the one. Thank you, Kai. LCSC. I have been using them, and they are, without a doubt, one of the best for price. Part of JLC PCB. Are they really? Did not know that. Did not know that. Right, I should probably put this component on first. So let's get a little bit of fluxaroonie here. I've got this new ASM Stiri sent me that I want to try out. And essentially it's like the ASM before, but they've removed one of the nasty chemicals from it. So I'll be really interested to see how this one performs, because if that is the case, and assuming of course the price is right, I do like the idea of I'm putting a diode in place that may not even be the right diode, but I will check with another 2FX board. It's who they use for when you populate boards. Well, hey, there you go. Yes, I don't actually use JLC PCB. I use PCB Way for my PCBs. Now, having said that, pretty much all the boards I've ever got from them have been little ones. And someone tells me that while PCB Way are very competitive with smaller boards, they're not as competitive with the big boards. Now, of course, I cannot say that for certain because I don't know that well enough, but sort of been told. My neighbours are very noisy. Noisy neighbours. Mind you, I've got chickens. I'm sure they know. They're not, my biggest fan club either. PCB would probably charge $1,000 for a run of 5 Quadrant i50 related boards. PCB, yeah. I'd say that may well be the case. So is it ready? Is the Is the 950 Quadra 950 reloaded board done? I heard talk of it, but I wasn't sure if it had actually been done. If it has, bravo to whoever done it. What a nightmare to make, though. Far out. I managed to get a Quadra 950. I think I got a Quadra 950 through Max. Does that ring a bell, Max? Did I get a Quadra 950 through you, I think? And I have to admit, you know, when it comes to the things you have in the collection, the 950 is definitely one that I am very glad to have. The 950, Quadra 700, Quadra 840, these are all ones that I'm, you know, like, yeah, I'm glad I have them. Sent you the link to Bowl's announcement image of the TD Discord. Oh, wow. Jeez, Bowl, he's a machine, isn't he? And he's probably made it better too. I have to admit, when we did that little video, Kai, recently, well, not recently, but whenever we did it, November last year, something like that, when we did that video of the Tinker Different projects that were underway, the one that I found the most appealing, the one that really, you know, had me interested, was the one where that person had made a 256 megabyte RAM kit for the SE30 that plugs straight into the processor direct slot. And I still, to this day, think that is just one of the coolest things ever. And I would love to see that getting, I guess, made, produced in a quantity that meant that you could bring the price of that thing down. And just avoid having to use the frickin' RAM slots on those things, because I am just constantly having problems with RAM slots on SE30s, and if you can just forget about them, just not have to use them, and just do the RAM upgrade straight from the PDS, that would be great. I mean, it probably stuffs people up who are doing other things where their PDS slot maybe, but, you know, I love it. I sort of feel like if someone could make something, some sort of thing that allowed you to solder your RAM to the board. Let's just say we make it 128 megabytes. Most people are going to be satisfied with 128 megabytes, so they'll never want to necessarily remove them. But let's say you get 128 megabytes of RAM and someone produced some sort of board with, I guess, some pins coming out of it or something like that, so that you could actually solder 128 megabytes of RAM to the board and ditch the RAM slots altogether. I would love that. That would be such a cool thing. Why is the chicken noisy? Let's go and say hello and see. Oops, let's better just go back and change this to... The chicken's moved. The chicken we were looking at before has moved. Okay. The one at the top of that image there, the one that's just moving now, that's the noisy one. So. Shush. There we go. Yeah, so we can all hear the noise. KMac has SIP RAM for that reason. We have 4 megabyte now, soon have 16. I've talked about this before on my live streams. I want one of the new SE30 internal grayscale cards, but it's hard to justify the cost. I'm not even sure that you can get them anymore, Colin. That might be the case, but I had a friend of mine who literally spare no expense type situation. So I'll just quickly tell you how I came about mine. When I heard about the grayscale card being made for the SE30, I contacted Bol straight away and I said, look, I would love to grab one of these and make a video about it. And he said, okay, well, they're not ready yet, but I'll put your name down. They're €400, which I don't know, that was expensive. It was like in Australian dollars, it was a lot of money. It was hard to justify, you know. And I was going to make a video about it. Now, as it turns, I didn't end up making a video about it, but Sean from Action Retro made a great video about it. So by all means, go and check his out. I may still make a video about it one day, but I you know, just time happens. You know, I just often run out of time to do the things that I want to do. Anyhow, so he shipped the thing to me, and I installed it in one of my SE30s, and I love it, and it's gimmicky and it's stupid, but I love it. And then I had a friend of mine sort of who was saying they wanted to get one. I said, oh, just speak to Bol, you know, get one from him. And so he contacted Bol, and Bol came back and said that he had no components left. There were components that he used to make them, and there was only a limited amount of them, and he wasn't able to make any more. Now, I don't know if that is still the case, but this friend of mine who was happy to spend just about anything to get hold of one, wasn't able to get one off Bol. So, you know, I don't know what the situation is. I want one with black solder mask so it'll match that clear machine built. Yes, because the one that I got's purple. It's, you know, it doesn't matter in my case because you can't see through it. But yeah, it's bright purple. Okay, Zigzag Joe is making another grayscale card. We're on a helicopter flight path, by the way, which is why you can hear a helicopter going across at the moment. The supply kind of disappeared for a while. Okay. New old stock Texas Instrument parts. Okay, all right, cool. That's all interesting information that I'm getting here. I'm going to just drop this little resistor in place. Oopsie. And then I'm going to do a little bit of tracer repair. Get over. There we go. 4701. And I really should have put flux down first, because now I put flux down, the capacitor is going to... Oh no, resistor. It stayed. I thought it would come away with the flux, but it didn't. Do-do-do-do. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Right. Let's check and see if we've got some good old continuity going on here between all of these things that I've just soldered in place, because it's all a bit of a mess. Okay. Right, we've got that one to... Was it this one? Nope. 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 Okay, doesn't touch any of them, so that's good. So that goes to that. That goes to that. We've got a break. Got a break between here. Yeah, right there. Just at that point there where my little thing is, there's a break in there. I can probably just patch that up with a big glob of solder without having to worry about putting a wire in there. Let's just see. It's a big break. I think I am going to need a wire. Just to be sure. I can tell you one thing for sure. There ain't nothing wrong with this new ASM formula that Stereo sent me. This one that where the chemicals aren't as bad in it. I think it's the fluorine. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the chemical. I can look it up. They did tell me. I've just forgotten. Resistance is futile. There was another one. Resistance is useless. That was from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Alright, let's go from there. Yeah, now we got good contact today. Yeah. I'm going to run a wire down this hole here if it fits. I think our neighbours might be having a little bit of a soiree. I just realised I'm going to have to actually stop streaming soon. I've still got so much to do today. I've been going now for over 2 hours. Pickle. Doesn't go all the way through. The blink RAM is actually very handy. The blink RAM isn't just novelty value. It is actually a very handy thing, the way it blinks when you use it, because you can kind of see what's going on with your computer if you've got a computer that's having a bit of trouble. The blinkies do give you a lot of indication of what's going on. Right, so that is... I'm going to have to look at this with my goggles. The multifocals that I've got just don't give me the level of magnification that I need here. Okay, so the 2 wires, there's that one and that one. And then above that, it's the one directly above the wire. That one there. Yeah, okay, cool. Yep, alright. So this is the hole I'm trying to poke through, and it's actually got solder mask there. This is when you see these, this is where you start to go, oh dear. Because you can see that it's just a little severe. There's nothing anywhere coming from it, which means that this actually joins up with a layer inside the board. And it's like, well, what's the state of that? What is the state of that via going through the board? See if I can get a wire through this time. Will there be a test? Always a test at the end. Okay, so now it's 3 pairs of tweezers that I've lost. Piffle. A little piece of solder mask in the middle of this thing, and I just can't get rid of it. Does anyone in the chat speak Croatian? You can tell me what my neighbours are talking about. I have these little pins that I've filed down to an incredibly fine point that then allow me to, or needles actually, that I then try and shove these through to get rid of whatever's in the hole. But they all invariably break at some stage, and I've got a whole bunch here that are all a bit broken. I may not be able to get a wire through that one, but I will check the continuity between the back and the front. I will at least do that. Checking from Hoyer. Whoopsie. Checking from Hoyer. Where are we? There. Through to... Crap, I can't see anything. Glasses swap again. Good. We've at least got continuity going from the top to the bottom of the board, so I won't worry about putting a wire in there. Ascertain 20, hello there. Ohio, right back at you. New Jersey? Sydney? Going to solder this wire to this trace. Just give it that extra little bit of extra little chance, I guess, of making contact. I joined this here from there to there. And I guess I did that for a reason. But I will at some stage need to check that I did do that correctly. Because wouldn't it be funny if the problem was because I actually connected something up wrong? Wouldn't it just be hilarious? Now, this massive hole here, this is the battery, and this is the battery hole that got, you know, with all the corrosion on it. So what I'm going to do is I'll run wires from either side here, and then sort of connect them down through the other side. Minnesota, come on everyone, jump in, tell us where you're from. Missouri, specifically Kansas City. Cool. Right. Okay, so now I've got to do this little bit of trace repair now. Of course, this, I normally attach traces along the line of where the old trace was, but that's going to be a little bit difficult here because I've got nothing to stick to, because it's all gone. But anyhow. Does anyone here ever watch any of the Critical Drinker movie reviews? He did one recently of, what's it called? The new Captain America movie that doesn't have Captain America in it. And he was pretty scathing. I have to confess I was a little bit confused about that movie being called Captain America when it doesn't have Captain America in it. But some of that was sort of explained. He's not really being Captain America. And let's face it, if you were going to have a Captain America replacement, it would sort of have to be Bucky. Because Bucky's the only other person who's had the serum. He's the only one with the super strength. The other dude's just got some fancy wings. Charlie, hello there. Just back in, just fixed a gaming mouse for my son. Being as blind as a bat doesn't help soldering small components. No, it does not. And that is why I use a microscope. Okay, so we've done a little bit of cleaning up here. I need to tidy that a bit more. Now, where does that go? Look at that. Where does that go? A hole in the board. Does it go to the other side? Or is it just one of those ones that... Oh, maybe that's the thing. Oh, hang on. Let me change the glasses. You know, I was talking about that little join that I did in there? That might be what this join is all about. We go along there. So it's this way here. Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay. So that little join that I did on the back, it actually joins that. Whoopsie. It joins that to that. But on the other side of the board. So that's why I did it. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to do a quick little recap of the situation I have going on with this board for anyone who has joined late, because I'm going to probably wrap things up now, mainly because I just have lots of things left in the day to do. 'Tis a Sunday after all, and I am a busy person. I need to start thinking about what sort of salad I'm going to serve with dinner tonight, and I need to go out and get the thing for cooking and stuff, you know, all that sort of things. So the situation we have with this board is this battery here. There's a battery that goes that way, and there's a battery that goes that way. Now, this one's not too bad, the one going that way, but the battery going this way definitely did leak down the bottom. Caused quite a lot of corrosion in this region here, up in this region here as well. And I have done some repairs to those, and I've done some repairs to this as well. Now, the computer chimes, but it then SADMAC chimes, even with known good RAM. So what that tells us is that it's failing the memory test. And if we know that the memory is good, then that problem has to be something else. Get in there. There we go. And the fact that there are all these damaged traces in this region here, which of course is very, very close to the RAM, means that it's probably something along there. And what it probably is a rotten via where we've lost the connection to the middle part of the board. Now, the main trick with that is I need to actually use the schematic diagram and the multimeter to go and check all these pins in this area. So any of these little vias here, I've got to first of all find out where they go to, and then I need to get the schematic and see, like if I'm tracing, say, this little guy here, if I find where it goes to on this chip, I then get the schematic and say, okay, that's pin so-and-so, he needs to be going to this, this, and this on the board. And I can check and say, oh, okay, it goes to that, but it doesn't go to this. And then theoretically, it's like, okay, well, there's a problem in the middle of the board. So that is what I need to do. And I want to do that specifically to, probably to these chips next, these two here, because they have all these traces running along here. I probably should zoom in a little bit, shouldn't I? That's the other way. Okay, so we've got, it'll focus in a minute, it's coming. There we go. So we've got these little chips here, and we've got these traces running along there. Now there's a one that I repaired there, but all of these, every single one of these, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however there's 7 or something like that. All of these go to a middle layer in the board. So I probably need to go through and check all of them and find out where they go from the schematic, and then go in and check to see if they're there. Oh God, there's the nicest food smells going around here at the moment. Yeah, so just I've got to do that pretty much with this whole region around here. I am going to just plug the power in now. I didn't do anything here that would actually resolve the issues we're having, but I'm still going to plug the power in now just so that we finish it off with a chime. Or worse. You know I've lost the speaker again, don't you? I haven't really. It's just here. So we'll just pop that there. Get our poopy power supply. Unit. Okay, so I'm going to just get that there. It's got there. Using KMac Vintage's ROM here. No, sorry, I haven't programmed it yet, but I will. I promise I will. And I'm just going to plug this in. Get a chime. And then we get the unhappy sad Mac chime there. So we know that, yeah, as I say, that's failing the RAM test, but we know the RAM is actually good. So we know that there are some issues. And that will be something that I will do, but I need to do that stuff not on live stream, because I kind of have to concentrate when I do that stuff, and then that means I can't really talk that much. And then that just becomes one of the most boring live streams you can ever possibly think of. So, once again, the chooks, we have the ability to bring them up on the screen again, which is wonderful. Very happy about that. There are no chickens there at the moment, but they're around. I maybe should start doing those 24-hour chicken live streams that I used to do. Testing makes riveting viewing not. Yeah, it's a little bit on the dull side, as I say. Mind you, when I did my workshop and wine stream, I did a little bit of work. I did a recapping of a board, and then I spent the second half of that live stream just drinking and talking to the camera. I had a great time. I don't think anyone else did, but I had a wonderful time. Alrighty, okay, well, so, as usual stuff that I do when I sort of finish off a live stream, talk about sort of what's happening. I'm working very hard to try and get through some of the backlog I have. I just recently did a review of these solder tweezers. On the whole, I'm basically very happy with them as a product, but I do need to get some larger tips for them. These ones here are just a little bit on the small side for the sort of work that I do. They're designed much more for smaller components, and they just don't get the level of heat transfer that I need for doing things like removing great big surface mount electrolytic capacitors. So, but they're a good product. I mean, I'm very happy to have them because I didn't have solder tweezers before, and they are very, very handy because you can get a component off without having to hit the board with hot air. And so if you've got somewhere where it's just surrounded in plastic, you can sort of get that component off a lot easier. So yeah, I've done that. I'm doing a product review, as I mentioned, on this thing here. This is the Finnersi. That is a multimeter and oscilloscope all rolled into one, and I'm sort of reviewing that at the moment. And so far, I'm pretty happy with it as a product. I'm also doing a video on this Creality 3D printer behind me. But that one's turned out to be a much bigger project than I had expected. And then I have also started work on my follow-up to my laundry sink ultrasonic cleaner, which I am still getting lots and lots of comments from people about. And it just amazes me how many people continually tell me the same thing. It's just amazing how many people out there think they know the answer to something when they don't, you know, and they'll actually put something in the comments with authority. They won't sort of say, hey, I think this or I think that or something. They'll just say, this is a fact. And it's like, it's not a fact. So don't be putting your incorrect information into my my video comments. I get really, really frustrated by that. I don't mind people asking questions in the comments, and I don't mind people who genuinely do know things saying stuff, but these are people who don't know what they're talking about, who are pretending that they do know what they're talking about. Very, very frustrating. Comment section is the lowest rung of humanity. I won't say that because I do appreciate comments from people. I really do, and I do get some lovely comments from people. And I do like the comments. I do like it when people provide comments on the whole. It's just that when these people that basically go in and you know, as I say, put stuff in where it's like, you know, you've said this. Have you tested this? When you're actually saying this is what happens, have you actually tested that? Have you tested that outcome? Because if you had tested that outcome, you would know you were wrong. But anyway. Who said the best Mac was an Amiga in my Apple Basics video? I love that one. I just love that one. That's just one of my favourite comments. You know, what a waste of everyone's time to put a comment like that in. Did you remove the comment or did you keep it there, Steve? I'm just curious to know. A whole lot of Dunning-Kruger to be found there, yes. For those who don't know what Dunning-Kruger is all about, a lot of people are actually, I think, becoming far more aware of Dunning-Kruger these days for reasons that I won't go into. But Dunning-Kruger is basically where someone doesn't know how much they don't know, and because they don't realize how much they don't know, they think they actually know a lot. And it's a really bizarre thing. It's essentially this sliding scale of people. The smarter they are, the less smart they think they are. Well, the less smart they are, the smarter they think they are. So it's a little bit like someone saying, you know, I don't know, if they're trying to understand the economy, for example. They think they understand the economy, so they think they have solutions. They think they have easy solutions for economic problems. But in actual fact, they don't know, they don't understand the economy at all, and so their solutions won't work. But this Dunning-Kruger effect is happening all the time, and it's happening in social media where people are actually going in and posting stuff. It's like this person did this post the other day where they were saying they were trying to create some sort of conspiracy around the fact that the planet Venus's surface temperature is higher than the surface temperature of Mercury. And they were saying, but if Mercury is closer to the sun, how is that possible? And I sort of think, it's actually really easy to explain, and it's very easy to find out that information. So why would you go to all this trouble creating this like conspiracy theory video about why Venus is so hot without even bothering to take 60 seconds to find out that Venus has such a dense atmosphere that it traps all of the heat in it and Mercury has no atmosphere? So, I mean, I can't fathom how these people can go around saying this stuff that they know when all of the information that they need to find this stuff out is actually readily available. But anyhow, I know a few Dunning-Kruger people who have demonstrated Dunning-Kruger in a big way, and I find it quite funny. Smart people get the Dunning-Kruger effect as well. Well, I mean, I think the Dunning-Kruger effect it's referring to this sliding scale sort of thing. Once you're intelligent enough to understand how complex something is, you are then able to. You can then say how much you don't know. You can then say, I don't know much about this, but you need to know enough about it to know how much there is to know about it, and to know that you don't know that much about it. Anyhow, let's not go on about Dunning-Kruger. I'll just talk about it forever. I picked the wrong year to quit sniffing glue. Airplane reference. Did you know that film was called Flying High in this country? How about that? Don't ask me why, but over here, Airplane is called Flying High. Great film. And by the way, if you've seen that and you haven't seen Top Secret, definitely check out Top Secret. Top Secret is probably my second favourite of those. What was it? Zucker? Was it the Zucker brothers or something like that? Jerry and someone Zucker, I think, that made those films, and they did the Naked Gun ones as well. For me, it's Top Secret and it's Airplane, Flying High, and then Top Secret, and then Naked Gun. Other people will disagree with me. They will probably prefer Naked Gun over Top Secret, but I just loved Top Secret. Zucker and Abrams, that's it. Thank you. Hot Shots 2, yeah, GC Hot Shots. It's a long time since I've seen that, but I did watch it. But of course, I saw Hot Shots having never seen Top Gun, and I suspect that you probably need to see Top Gun to get the jokes for Hot Shots. Yeah. All right, I'm just checking to see that I haven't missed anything here. Yeah. Okay. I like that. There's a parable about Socrates being told he was the smartest man in Athens and disputing it only to realize it was true because he was the only one who admitted what he didn't know. Yeah. Oh, I can hear a pee-pee sound. Sorry, I'm just the chat sat there very stagnant for a while there while I was doing boring things, and now the chat's getting all interesting. So I'm sitting here reading the chat instead of finishing the live stream. Silly me. He's just a little horse. Ha ha. Yeah, I remember that. It's been a hard day's night. There is no parking in the red zone. I've had enough of your white zone shit. Yeah, I love those movies. Absolutely love those movies. Okay, all right. I've spoken enough. I now do need to go and do some weekend chores. God, that scares the crap out of me every time it happens. When I do anything that interrupts the power in here, this screen temporarily goes black. It's almost like it's like an automatic input detection or something like that, and the screen goes blank. It's a new screen I'm using in here now. I bought this a while ago for another reason, and I'm now using it in here, and it raises and lowers, so that's handy for me in here. What was I saying? Yeah, but anyhow, when I maybe if I manually set the input for this, it might work better. But all right, well, once again, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since my last live stream. I'll try and do another one next weekend if I can. I will hopefully spend a little bit of time on this week to see if I can get this one happening, because I would love to get this one back to max. And then I've also got some computers here for someone else that I really need to try and get sorted out. I can't test them at the moment. I have to get that fixed. If I can't, because I don't like sending things back untested. I just did that recently, and sure enough, when the board arrived at its destination, it didn't work. Because these days, most of the boards are not just recapping anymore. It's very, very rare. It's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. But it's very, very rare that a recapping on its own will fix a board nowadays. There's almost always some tracer repair required as well. Okay, so, oh yeah, smash that like button, please. Thank you very much. That'd be much appreciated. Smash that like button. I'll do one now. There we go.
Smash that like button.
Okay, thanks again. Thank you for keeping the chat lively. Thank you for keeping me company while I did this work. Sorry I didn't actually achieve very much today, but that's just how it goes sometimes. And I hope to see you at the next one. So have a good one and see you next time. Bye.